Alright guys, in this video we're back on the TURRD. Back on the TURRD project. It's been a couple days since I made a video, but we got to get back on it, because if not, this TURRD will be pushed outside on Skid Row and we won't ever get it put back together. So we got to kind of stay on this project. We're going to start stripping down this Gen 4 wiring harness and turn this wiring harness into a standalone wiring harness and get it ready to go in the truck. And then we'll get over here and start taking all the old wires off on the truck that we don't need, and stripping all the junk that we don't need off the truck and getting it ready to start test fitting the motor. But first thing we got to do is spend a little while stripping this wiring harness down. So we're going to get to it. Alright, first thing we got to do is take the PCM off. These got way smaller PCMs than the original ones did. You know, the old school ones, the brick ones. They're a little bit more complicated to take the pins out of, but after you get the hang of it, it ain't that bad. But this thing right here has been sitting for a minute, so I'm gonna say this thing might be a little stuck. There we go. Jiggle, jiggle, shaky, shaky, wobble, wobble. Look at that. They got good seals on them, though. Thing's been sitting outside for like, I don't know, 7, 8 years, 9 years, and it's still dry in there. That's good. Nice. All right. Well, that's step one. Now that we got to start doing is stripping all the old wire loom off this thing. I'll put all new wire loom on it when I get done. And I like to use the traditional wire loom. A lot of people like to use that newer nylon stuff. It's perforated, got the holes and stuff in it. And it looks really good. Don't get me wrong, it does. But I tend to drive my junk a lot. And stuff that tends to drive, you know, it'll get dirt and grease and grime and junk in the ones with their, like the nylon braided stuff. But like you get one of these with these hard plastic coatings and then tape it all the way up, it seems to stay a little neater in there. A lot easier to clean in the long run. It don't look as good from the get-go, but in the long run, it's where it's at. So we're going to start taking all this wire loom off. Be careful. Do not butcher up the wires. But get all this off. Probably should go get the trash can, because this is going to be a minute worth of junk that we don't need to be taking the trash can to. Do not cut your finger off. We used to mess with Hondas a lot back in the day before we moved up in the world to a Chevrolet. But one thing I can give the Japanese people, they use very crappy wires, little bitty thin, really brittle wires on old cars. Okay? American people, Chevrolet, we don't work on Fords, but Chevrolet, they use really nice wires. But the Japanese people, they use really good electrical tape and wire loom. Chevrolet people, American people, they don't use good electrical tape and wire loom. So one had really good wires and really crappy wire loom, and the other one had really crappy wires and really good wire loom. Imagine that. But you try to do this to a Honda wiring harness, man, them jokers, them little Asian people, they be gluing the world down with some electrical tape. I ain't kidding. like I said, it takes a little while to do this, but I just like to do this on my own stuff because in most of the cars I build, because I know exactly where every wire goes if I do it this way, and I will know how to find it later if I need to work on it again later, and I can make stuff fit exactly like I want to. You buy a wiring harness, it works, but you'll always have to modify something, change something. You know, something's not going to be exactly where you want it. You do it like this, it takes a little bit more time, but it will be exactly where you want it in the long run. And just remember, guys, whatever you do not buy an LS wiring harness on Amazon. Don't do it. Bad idea. Bad idea. Don't do it. Sometimes some of this wire loom can be a little bit of a pain to get out because they put it in there good, but like I said, not as quite as good as the Asian people did on their wire looming skills back in the day, but they do put it on there. They just seem to get happy in places they don't need to get happy most of the time here for some reason. Man, have y'all tried the new Harbor Freight Icon dikes? Like, I'm pretty sure that they stole those from the Snap-on, because I got Snap-on ones and I got Harbor Freight ones, and they are the exact same. Matter of fact, I'm going to go get them and I'm going to show you guys. Look at this right here. They're like the exact same to the T. Same thickness, size piece of metal, same angle on the dikes, same little handle design. Same exact everything. Somebody stole something from somewhere when they made these. Like, they are the exact same as you got the strap-on ones, and then you got the Harbor to the Freight ones. Remember when I told y'all I was going to try to keep the air conditioning in the same spot? I'm not even going to take these wires out of the harness because I want to try to save the air conditioning in that location. So we'll test fit it before we wire loom it all up and see if we can make it work. And if so, we won't have to move any of this. That would be great. Okay. For right this minute, we're not going to take all that apart yet, because we know all that's air conditioned stuff. Okay, I think that's the crank sensor, ground wire. That ground wire probably needs a little love. Okay. Well, we've got most of that stripped down. We got to strip this side over here off now to get to this part that we need to go to. We got this stripped down. That's O2 sensor. That O2 sensor is probably coming out. That's the secondaries. Pretty sure. That's the transmission plug. We got to have the transmission plug. You get these spots like this where people, or where it ain't got electrical tape on it, I like to put some masking tape on it. Just wrap it back up with some masking tape in some spots. That way you can still pull wires through a masking tape a lot easier than you can electrical tape. And when you want to take it back apart, you just take it apart and then when you get it all set and done like you want it, you put the you can take it apart, put electrical tape on it, and wire loom it up. But for mocking up purposes, use this tape because you can slide the wires through it a lot easier when you pull on it and stuff like that. It just makes life so much easier on your own half. Promise. Give it a whirl. You'll like it. That wire right there goes back there for days. But I'm pretty sure that's another one of those O2 sensors behind the converters right there that we're not going to use. We don't have any converters on this old hot rod. We don't live in California. Not really trying to go to California. If any of you guys from California watch this, I'm sorry, but I ain't trying to go there. I ain't lost nothing in California. I take that back. If we had a big storm and the storm guys wanted me to go to California, I'd probably go. Somebody else would be paying for it. So I'd probably go on somebody else's dime. Just have to be very careful because everything I got's pretty raggedy. They might try to lock me up for driving raggedy junk or something. Keep this stuff together and keep this stuff tight as you're taking it apart. Wire loop, tape it back up as you go any spots you need to. If not, you will be like that guy on the intro net that's got like this big spaghetti mess everywhere and you won't be able to find anything and it'll be all tangled up, knotted up. Don't be that guy. Don't make it complicated on yourself. And if y'all see anything in any of this that I'm doing that y'all need more help on or need more questions on or anything like that, y'all feel free to reach out on Instagram, Facebook, something like that, and message me, and I'll be more than happy to help you any way I can. I'm sorry if it's kind of loud with some wind noise and stuff, because I got every fan going, because it is hot as balls here. We don't have air conditioning. Maybe one day, if we keep working hard, keep asking God for help every day of the week, maybe one day He'll bless me with some air conditioning. But He's helped me this far without air conditioning, so I guess He thinks I'm all right now. Keep doing what I can. Look at that. Now that we've got that stripped down, we haven't got all the tape off of it yet, but we've got most of the wire loom off of it. We should be able to go through now and start depinning some things and pulling a few wires out. That's the part that takes the longest, but we're going to keep going. We're going to get to it. Scrape some of this back up here out of the way. Move that around. Roll that down there. Fold this over here out of the way. Okay. That way we can get some of this stuff. We'll go ahead and untape this stuff and get it kind of how we need it to be. Because we know we're going to have to be right here taking stuff apart. sure my dog is chasing a carpenter bee. Alright, now we need to take this apart. I guess I need to go get something to write with so I can label some of this. Alright, got me a label and got me a yoo-hoo. Gotta have those. Some of y'all guys be drinking beer and junk. That ain't where it's at. Yoo-hoo is where it's at. I just like to label these so I know which one I took the gray one and the black one off of. That way I know. These little things right here, you just stick a pick in there and pop them up just like that, and they come right out. Not really that complicated. Pretty self-explanatory. After you pop them out, they ain't that hard. Now these things, on the other hand, sometimes they could be a little tricky without breaking them. And considering these things are kind of old and brittle because they've been sitting outside, they might break. Hopefully not, but they might. There we go. Hey, look at that. Alright, and now there is this fancy little thing right here that you got to pull off. Right down in this little hole, there's two little clips that we got to get loose. Right, now we should be able to pull that up a little bit. Slowly. You're going to have to get these pretty straight right here. Hopefully you just pull up on it. This is like the aggravatingest part of the whole thing. Okay, and then you just got to go through and find out. These aren't numbered like the other ones. The old ones had numbers on them. These don't actually have numbers on them, so you actually have to count each pin to pull the pin out. But not the end of the world. Alright, got that one loose. We're going to move on to the other one. Take the same thing apart on it. Get it ready to start taking pins out. And it's a different color, but it's the same concept, the same way I'm taking it apart. I can't believe it, but I got both those off and didn't break them. And these things have been sitting outside for a long time. just like that, we got it to the part. All right, now we will try to figure out what to do with my wiring diagram, and we'll start taking pins out. Look at that. All right, guys, we're back. Had to take a slight break. I had to get us a new multimeter. The one at home kind of gave out on us, so we had to go get us a new one of those. But we're going to get back on the stripping of the wiring harness here. We're going to turn this into a standalone harness so that it'll run on anything. I feel like, you know, if you can make it run on the floor, you should be able to make it run on anything you want to put it in. All right, we got to find our cool pick right here. And we're looking for, this is the X1 connector. The one with the big fat little square over here is the X1. And number 9 should be the brake light switch. Should be a blue and white wire. Check my diagram. Blue and white, yes. All right, and that should go to the fuse box. So we just need to find the fuse box wire. We don't have to pull that one out. It's just going to have a brake light switch. Okay. I'm not an electrical genius, and I'm not real good at that. But I know if you got a multimeter and you can make it do the bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop thing, you can find 2 ends of wires. So, hey. All right, this one down here is blue and white. So, poke that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Now we just need to lock that off this fuse box because we don't need that. And label it because it's got to go to a brake light switch. That's to cut the torque converter. That's for the torque converter to lock up. You want the converter to lock up. We don't want the converter to lock up in every gear like they make it, so we'll have to go through and tune that out, but we want it to lock up in the last 2 gears. We want our fuel mileage. We don't care about the fuel mileage getting to 60 mile an hour, but when we get there, we want the fuel mileage. Going down the highway and junk. Okay. All right. Pull this out. This back to right here. I'm gonna pull all our wires that way for right now. I like to label mine as I go, so that way I'll know what they are when I need them again. Like I said, this takes a little bit of time, guys, but if I can do it, you can do it. I promise. So I'm no genius. See, I'll label that. I'll know where it's at. All right, now on to the next wire. Number 10 and all that. All right, the same X1 connector. Number 10 and number 11, we do not need. It should be a purple and a tan. Okay, that was 9, 10, 11, purple and tan. That is correct. Those 2 wires are for the O2 sensor, the secondary O2s that we do not need because we don't have secondary O2s. I might have to go get my light for this project because I can't see nothing. It is dark in there. Going to get a light. finally. Took me a minute, but I got it. Does that not fit through that plastic thing? Hold on. Yeah. Alright. And now that was 10. Now we got to do 11. 11 should be the one right beside number 10. I about need a pair of pliers for this. And a stool. Alright, I went and got me some pliers. Now I'm gonna can hold more stuff. I about ain't got enough hands for this project. These are a little harder to do than the Gen 3 stuff. The Gen 3 stuff is simple. You can yank one of them things apart in a minute. These are just a little bit more complicated. I'm not going to say that they're much more complicated. They're just more aggravating to get the pins out of. All right, those are for O2 sensors on bank 1, the secondaries. All right, we got these two out now. These are the bank 1 secondary O2s. Now we're going to go to 16 is a dual fuel level sending unit or something. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It should be purple. And let's see. It should be purple. Look at that. All right. I like to go ahead and pull a bunch of them out, pull a bunch of the pins out, pull them back, and then go start yanking them out of that harness. And I try not to cut them because you never know when you need a good long piece of wire. It's already got these pins on it in case you want to add them to something. All right, next. The next one is pin 17, and it should be a fan control. Okay, 16 was the last one on that row, so the first one on the next row should be 17. Okay, that should be... All right, we'll have to add one in that one because this particular one does not have one in that hole for that fan control. So we will have to add one in there to go to the fan controller. All right. 18. 18 should be dark blue. 18 is dark blue. We don't need 18. That goes to the wake up port of the serial data. We don't need that. The serial data port, by the way, is the OBD2 scanner, the thing you plug your scan tool in. $19 should be pink. It is. That is going to be ignition power for this part of the PCM. So we just need to figure out which one of these over here in the fuse box, where the fuse box used to go. Turn it back on, bleep bloop. See? Bleep bloop. Alright, now we just got to figure out which one of those goes here. The one on the very end is PCM. I found out a long time ago that, like the Gen 3 stuff, you can technically take and lop every one of these pink wires off of a Gen 3. You can lop every one of these pink wires off. Then you can lop every one of the orange wires off and stick them straight on the battery. And then this big fat purple wire right here will make it start if the computer's been flashed. Don't do that. Don't do it. Sounds like a good idea. You can make it run. You can get moving. But then when you actually go back to fix it the correct way, it sucks because you have to sit down and trace every one of these itty bitty wires to find exactly where it goes. It takes forever. And like this, when you put it in the fuse block, you'll know which circuit to fuse it to. Like you can have bank 1, bank 2. You have bank 1, bank 2. You can put a fuse for like your MAF sensor, MAP sensor, sensors like that in a circuit. You can put your transmission and PCM in a circuit. So that way, if you ever have trouble, you knew where to go look for it. Or if you just hooked it to a bunch of fuses, you ain't going to know what it does. All right. Moving on now to 23. 23 should be purple, and it should go to the go pedal. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Alright, so now we got to figure out where that goes. I don't know if that one's in this one or it might be in this one, but it's going to be in one of these. I guess we need to go ahead and take this here thing out of this so we can be blooping wires on that. There we go. Alright. Always check the bleep loop. See? It bleeps and it bloops. Alright. Look at that. Look at that. We're on the end. Alright. I probably need to tape that or cut that back a little bit so we can get those wires. I ain't going to have nothing to tape it to. What'd I do with my knife? Alright, let's see. Let's trim this back. And when we trim this back, it might actually be purple under here. It is purple. Look at that. She was just been sitting out in the sun for a little bit. Okay. Alright. Alright, this purple wire is going to go to pin A. Pin number A. We got to remember, pin number A, guys. Pin number A on the go pedal. Alright, that's pin number A on the go pedal. That should be 24. It should be dark green. It's another fuel level thing. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 is dark green. Alright, look at that. Alright, the next one is going to be 29, and it's going to be dark blue, and it goes to the go pedal. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Man, I can't see that. Okay, we really need to get this thing out of the way a little bit more. 29, dark blue. You sank my battleship. Alright, let's see. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Ah. What the heck? It is blue. Look at that. All right. Next. All right, I am a complete idiot. I just took that out, and it does not come out. That goes to the gas pedal. So now I got to put it back. Putting it back in the hole that it come out of. What an idiot. 28, 29. All right. Now that we have jacked that up, now I should be able to go over here and find it for the go pedal. Fourth one over. What do you know? It is the fourth one over. Look at that. All right. Well, that was a big wasted time. All right, this is pin number E on the go pedal. All right, the one right beside that one should be brown. And it should go to the go pedal. All right, number 30. All right, that's going to be the second one right there. Look at that. Beep, beep, beep. Y'all hear that? Beep, beep. When it goes beep, bloop, you got the right wire. Number 30 is going to be number F on the go pedal. And guys, if you're going to do this, I get a lot of my information off the intro webs. I do. But I also, if you go to the Chevrolet dealership for the vehicle that you've took you go to the Chevrolet dealership with the VIN number of the vehicle or the make and model of the vehicle, they're gonna always ask for a VIN number. So if you got the VIN number to the vehicle, if you got to scan the computer, it'll tell you the VIN number to the car. And they'll give you a pinout of the wiring harness. So that way when you get information off the intranet, you can check your information that you found off the internet on the pinout from the Chevrolet dealership. So that way you know if it's right or not, because let's face it, everything you read on the intranet's true, right? So just double check it before you start digging into it, so that way you know you got good information. $31 should be tan. That one is a fuel tank pressure. Another fuel tank pressure. Some evap bull crap junk that we don't be using. Unless you guys are in California. Then again, I'm still sorry. You can't build hot rods like this over here in California. Now on to the next one. The next one should be 32. It is. It's the last one in the line, and it's light blue. That one is going to the go pedal too. The first one over here, maybe. Look at that. Look at that. We're getting good at this. If I didn't know any better, I would think I knew what I was doing. Good thing I know better. $32 is going to be pin number B. Pin number B. $33 is the one under 17. Okay, that was 17, so that's going to be 33 right there. And it's going to be gray and another stupid fuel tank pressure. Right, there's a blue gazillion of these things. All right, now 36 is another go pedal. 33, 34, 35, 36. These are kind of hard to get to. All right, that about messed up again. I about took it out, but that's got to be bleep blooped. And it's going to be tan, which all these are faded, so I don't see which one of these are tan, but it goes to the go pedal. Get it back right there, it's tan, look at that. All right, and the tan one, pin number C. All right, guys, now we're back. Now we're looking for pin 47. And let's see. 47 should be pink and black, I'm pretty sure. Yes. So 47 is going to be pink and black, and it's going to be another PCM 12 volts. It's just going to have another key on 12 volt power. Anytime that we are on it powers up the PCM. It goes to 12 volt key on. All right. It's going to be over here in the fuse box holder hole. One of these 5100 pink wires. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. And that is that one right there. Okay. So now we just got to lop that one off and label that one key on 12 volts. PCM. So that way when we go to put it in a fuse, we'll know where it goes. All right. 49 should be, yes, we were just on 47, so now we need to be 49. 47, 48, 49. That should be a tan wire. It goes to bank 2. Oxygen sensor number 2 that we're not going to be using. I wonder what the job requirements are to build a wiring harness for the Chevrolet dealership. Do they look? Is your job requirement to look for somebody with baby fingers? So you know the guy with fat fingers is not building these wiring harnesses. I'm just saying. All right, number 50. 50 should be dark green and white. And that should be the fuel pump relay. Imagine that. At least they were smart enough to make the fuel pump relay the same color as the Gen 3. So that's cool. If I'm not mistaken, that goes to the fuse box, I think. Alright, where's the other end of my bleep blooper? Bleep bloops, okay. Alright, let's see. Alright, it was definitely not one of those. Alright, there it is. It goes to the fuse box. That is the fuel pump. That powers the fuel pump relay. We got to have the fuel. Alright guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to church. It's Wednesday night, so y'all know we got to go to church. If this is helping you guys out, please like and subscribe. Hit the little thumbs up thingy. They say that helps a fat kid out. Y'all know we need all the help we can get because we're still learning this whole video thing. We're not real good at it yet, but we're trying. Alright guys, we're back at it. Still working on the X1 connector here. We had a good night at church, and now we're getting back on this the next day. The X1 connector, like I said before, this is the one with the one big fat little plug right here on the side. That's the X1. Now we're going to be looking at, I think is number 50. I think, let's go check that right fast. 50 was the fuel pump. 51 is the secondary fuel pump. And it's going to be tan. These are kind of hard to see. I am not kidding. All right, and now I think 52's got to come out too. '52 should be yellow and black, and it's for a starter enable module. Some bull crap that we ain't using. All right, on to the next one. All right, we're getting to the bottom row of this. So that should be, oh, junk. Forgot which number it was. 53 is the beginning of the bottom row. I do remember that. We're looking for a white and black wire on number 56. 53, 54, 55, 56. 56 is a white and black wire. That should be a go pedal wire. Check our bleep blooper. Always double check the bleep blooper. Alright. Oh, look at that. This is the white and black ones right here. Look at this. This one is not gonna be no big deal. Right here. Look at that. That was easy. Alright. That's another go pedal wire. Gotta label that one go pedal. That is go pedal number D. Okay. Now, we're going to 57. 57 should be the one beside it. It should be yellow with a black line. Yellow with a black line. And this is going to the vehicle speed sensor and the ABS of the S. I don't know about y'all, but this old turd does not have ABS. ABS is let off the brake pedal. All right, that was 57. 58 should be dark green, and I don't think I have one in 58. Okay, I do not have one there, so we will have to put a pin there for the fan. All right, we will do that at a later time and date. All right, now we're going to go to 59, which should be a yellow wire for a low oil pressure reference. 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. It is yellow. I did say 59, didn't I? Yes. 59 is a low oil reference. Okay. That's the little dummy light that comes on your dash to tell you you're low in your newfangled cars. All right, now we're going to go to 61. It should be a white wire for EVAP. 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. It is a white wire. This is for the EVAP crap. All right, 64 and 65 is secondary oxygen sensors. And we're going to take those out to 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, and 65. Yes, these two. Should be an orange and white and a gray and white, and it is orange and white and gray and white. All right, let's pull these out of the equation. All right, keep on trucking on. We're almost to the end of this plug. All right, now we're looking for 68. 68 should be brown and white. Should be the meal light, which is the exact same as the old ones. They're brown and white. It is brown and white. Okay. Turn our bleep bloop thing back on. Always test it. Okay. And now we're looking for a brown and white wire. It should be in this one over here somewhere. Look at that. Look at that. All right. That is the meal light, which is for normal people. Normal people, we call that the check engine light, because that's the little light that makes it light up. But the fancy terminological term for that is the meal light. All right, on to the next one. 69. 69 is an oxygen sensor for secondary oxygen sensor. So we're not going to need that either. C30 is another fuel level sensor. This thing's got all kinds of fuel level sensors, but it was a 2500 or 3500. I don't remember if that thing was a 2500 or a 3500, but it probably had more than one tank. All right, and that should be all the wires in the X1 plug right there. So now we get to migrate to the next plug. We're not going to put this back together right yet because we are going to have to add some pins for the fans. Neither one of the fan wires was pinned. We are going to have to add those. Alright, I have just double checked all my listings and everything, and this thing's going to be real simple because we've only got to take one pin out of this whole plug. One pin. The rest of them are important wires. That means we don't have to take them out. We'll leave them in there. The one pin that we got to take out is a dark green and white number 8 for evap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it is dark green and white. Look at that. Almost like we knew what we were doing. Alright. Alright, and see now this right here is where I hadn't stripped all this down yet. I gotta take all this electrical tape off and stuff. But this is where that's gonna come in handy because it's gonna suck to try to pull some of these wires through the electrical tape. But it's a lot easier to pull it through the masking tape. Remember, be careful with the razor blades. Do not cut your fat fingers. And do not cut the wires. Now, we just got to do the fun part and taking all these wires out of the harness. One at a time. This will probably turn into a big time lapse, to be honest with you. Alright, we're going to reposition so we can start taking some of this black tape off. Remove some more of this other stuff. Probably gonna need that. No, we're gonna need that. Okay. Remember, take your time. Don't get it all wadded and knotted up. The more time you spend on it now, the nicer it will be in the long run. Now this one, and now we got to go down here. This is for an evap purge solenoid. So now we got to get our bleep blooper out and figure out which wire that powers. Every sensor on this thing's got a pink wire. It's key on power. Get our bleep bloop thing. Bleep bloop. Always check the bleep bloop. Y'all would know it'd be the one that's got two wires going to it. But I think there's another evap purge, so it would have been on the same fuse. I think there's more evap junk. Alright. bam, come right out. Curl up these wires. Never know when you need a wire with the right PCM pin on it, and you'll have the right color, depending on the color you want. If you keep them, you'll have them. Wires are expensive, guys, and them little pins, they're expensive and hard to come by. So, curl them up, keep them. After a while, you can quit keeping them. Like the Gen 3 stuff, I've got buckets and buckets and buckets of this junk. So we don't keep a lot of that anymore. We still keep enough to get us by. Alright guys, now we're going to start by taking all the electrical tape off all the way up to here and all the way down to this other end right here, because we've got all the wires pulled back to right here, and now we've got to pull all the rest of these out. But we got to take more electrical tape off. I think most of these EVAP or fuel level sending unit wires and stuff like that go to this plug that went to the back of the truck. But we're going to give it a double check just to make sure. See? Told you. Look at that. A lot of that goes right there. That's going to eat up a lot of it, hopefully. There was a bunch of those. These wires, they get stuck together over the time, over the years of all the heat and stuff. Sometimes you got to give them a little pull to get them unstuck. I don't know why they stick together like that. I guess they get hot and over the years they just kind of melt back together or something. Sometimes it can be a little bit pain in the butt. I've even soaked them in parts cleaner sometimes just to help it slide a little better. And just like that, guys, all these wires go to that one plug that went to the back of that truck that we're not going to use. All these wires we're not going to have. Look at that. But it's a good wire. We're not getting rid of it. This is a secondary oxygen sensor. We got all the wires pulled out. We pulled them out the pin earlier. We just got to get the one hot wire. Pink. All of them's got a key on tap. Figure out where that one goes to the fuse box and take it out. That way, so we should be able to start taping that back up top. Try to keep it as tight as you can as you do it, because you're going to want to move stuff. That's just how it is. But you do know that all this stuff fits. At one time on this motor, it all fit in a certain location. So if you put it all back like that, then you mock it up before you put all the wire loom on it. If you want to move something, you can. But you don't want a spaghetti mess of wires. Be like them guys on the intro wigs. It's got wires strung from one end to the other. There's literally only 5 more wires left. Just like that is the other secondary O pieces. Look at that. A lot of good wire there. Pin 5 is a ground, so that's just got to go to ground. Okay, so these two are cam up high and low frequencies. This is a ground. Purple wire, start. Crank, crank, vroom, vroom. Okay. The green ones are air conditioned. We hadn't took those out yet because I'm going to try to keep all the factory compressor mounting and stuff. So if we have to change it, we will. If not, later. And then when we go through to put all this on fuses, we'll look up the pin out for all these and put them on each fuse that they need to go to. Bank 1, bank 2. Injectors 1, coil packs 1, coil packs and injectors on bank 2, MAP sensor, MAF sensor, PCM. That way we can separate them, know where they're at. Okay, now we do have this orange wire, and that just goes there. I don't know where that one orange one goes somewhere that we got to find. That one orange one goes to this here plug right here. I bet that we don't know what is. So we're going to have to investigate that situation. Yep. Alright. I will look up that one plug. But that's pretty much it right there, guys. Like I said, don't lock these off yet until you get ready to put them on the fuse box. There you go. And I like to fit it all back to the truck, put the motor in the truck, and fit all the wires on there exactly where you want it. Make them shorter, make them longer, make them fit exactly to your liking. Exactly where you want to fit. Then pull the whole wiring harness back off, wire loom it all up nice and pretty, and then put it back on, and you will have a done, finished standalone harness that you know what's in. You know all the wire colors is the right ones. You know where you put all your wires, and everything will work like it's supposed to. All right, well I'm gonna edit this and try to get this loaded up for you guys. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Help the fat guy out. Tell your buddies.